Was the flood of Noah local or global? When we compare the findings of modern geology with the sacred texts, what should we make of the flood of Noah as described in the scriptures? Jews, Christians, and Muslims share the belief that Noah was a prophet sent by God to his community. Those who rejected him were destroyed by a flood, but the believers were spared on the ark constructed by Noah. Why this story is shared in all three faiths, theologians have disputed whether the flood was globally or only locally realized. Some theologians maintain that the flood was global and that Noah's ark saved all species of animals. On the other side, some geologists, including Charles Lyell, claimed that the flood was effective over all the earth, but did not cause major global damage. This latter approach is referred to as the tranquil flood theory. Another interpretation, the local flood theory, holds that at Noah's time, all people on the earth were living in the same region, and the flood affected only that particular region. Defenders of the local flood hold that the words in the sacred text, such as entire, each, etc., do not imply geographically global, but instead implied broad extent and profoundness. They offer the following passage from Genesis as an example. Genesis 41:57. And all the world came to Egypt to buy grain from Joseph, because the famine was severe everywhere. They also note that it is nonsense to believe that kangaroos hopped to the Middle East from Australia to embark on Noah's Ark, and that Genesis does not refer to the miraculous transfer of animals. Statements in the same passage about the flood covering the entire earth and reaching over mountaintops are described from the point of view of Noah and are confined to the region where he lived. For our discussion, we will assess whether it is mandatory for Muslims to believe in the globality of the flood of Noah or not. The Quran does not contain many of the details about the flood described in the Old Testament. And in the Quran's description, there is no conflict with the present scientific findings. Many verses in the Quran describe natural disasters sent as punishment over ancient infidel societies. Noah's people were one of them. The following verses from the Quran shed more light on this matter. Surah Al-Furqan, verses 37 and 38. The people of Noah, when they denied the messengers, we drowned them and made them a symbol for mankind. We have prepared for the wrongdoers a painful punishment. And remember how we punished the tribes of Ad and Tsemud and the people of Erres, and many generations of sinners in between. Centuries prior to the emergence of paleontology and its findings, many Muslim scholars stated that the flood of Noah was local, because all who rejected Noah were living in his town, which would not require punishment of the entire earth. From the Quran, we learn that punishments given to ancient societies were directed only at the guilty ones. It would be against the paradigm of Quran to imagine the punishment of innocent people and animals in irrelevant parts of the earth. Turkish Quranic exegist scholar Elmalı Hamdi Yazır explains his interpretation as follows. From this, we understand that Noah was not sent to the entire humanity, but only to his community. How many different societies were on the earth at that time, the places where they lived, and the total population of the earth, these are known only to God. The expense of the flood of Noah means that it affected his entire community. There is no reason to interpret it as effective all over the world. Many of Muslim scholars understand the flood to be local, and furthermore, they also believe that other societies may have lived at the same time in other places. Even if one claims that all humanity consisted of the people of Noah, this would not alter our conclusion, since that society would have lived in a confined region of the earth, the flood would still have been local. There is hence no need for a Muslim to believe in a global flood. If the flood were local, the animals Noah would have taken on the ark were the future needs of the believers spared from the flood. There is no need to believe that the ark provided refuge for hundreds of thousands of species of animals. As pointed out by Elmalı Hamdi Yazır, when we consider the logic behind the punishments given to the ancient societies described in the Quran, it is more consistent to believe that the flood was local. Today, from our study of fossils, we understand that numerous multi-celled organisms have continually existed on the earth for hundreds of millions of years. Moreover, there is no period of cessation of life on the continents of America and Africa. As a result, it will be problematic to assume that the flood of Noah interfered with life around the world. Indeed, geological studies show that various parts of the earth suffered from severe floods throughout history.